Hello, hello. Whew, it's been a while, but I'm here. So let's get on with it. My name's Elly and I am the host of the Curio Stitches podcast and pattern designs and hand-dyed yarn and fibre. So today is Friday the 1st of September. So I thought I'd get in there right at the beginning of the month. So this is a catch-up video because if I was to show you everything that I have finished and have been working on since my last video, we'd need popcorn and other snacks and put your feet up, get comfy. It'd be sort of 3 hours, and I'm not a hobbit. I'm short, but I'm not a hobbit. So today's a bit of a catch-up, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I've purchased in the meantime. I've got my tea, and it's delicious. It's just Clipper organic tea. But I'll put that in there. So, how are you all? I hope you're all well, and life's been good to you. If it's not, I'm sorry. I know the feeling. So, as you all know, back in sort of late January, beginning of February, my health took a nosedive. I've had a bad run health-wise for just over a year now. But recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've started to sort of lift out of that a little bit, and my energy's returning and everything else, but I'm still not well. I'm no means back to my normal level. But my health is the reason that I've just not been on. I've made plans to record. I have even sat down in front of the camera and started recording, and then I've started developing symptoms. And as lovely as you all are, I don't think you want to see me faint on camera or collapse or suddenly get ill. Too much information, too much sharing. So I'm feeling good today. A bit tired, but I'm doing good. My most recent hospital appointment was short notice and perfectly timed, because I was able to be attached to all the machines and things whilst I was experiencing severe symptoms, and that went a long way to my cardiologist being able to sort of point me in directions of other specialists that he think would be able to help. So fingers crossed. But the NHS waiting list is so long at the moment, and I just don't have the money to go private. So it's sort of in the UK, they'll sort of say, it'll be this long before your appointment. If it's up to sort of 18 months, they couldn't even tell me how long my wait was going to be. So we're looking at a long, long wait. So at this rate, it'll be sort of next Christmas, so Christmas 24 before I'm seen. That's the NHS. So who knows? Maybe the aliens will come and get me by then and take me home. It's just a joke. So I have been doing a heck of a lot of crafting, knitting, crochet, some spinning, some cross stitch, some beading, paper piecing, painting, a lot of gardening, because outside of handcrafts, being in the garden is my next favourite thing to do. I find it therapeutic and it brings me a lot of joy, especially with growing fruit and vegetables. My polytunnel is absolutely heaving, and it's really nice each evening to be able to sort of go out there and pick some veg to have with our dinner, or you know, make a crumble or something with some fruit. So it's been lovely. Moving on to crafting things. See, I keep teasing you. I am currently working on 8 knitting projects and 3 crochet projects, as well as cross stitch and beading. But anyway, so I, as Curio Stitches Designs, have got 4 patterns coming out this month, September. So there is the Galatea, which is a crop, which you can sort of, ooh, fly. No, that's a wasp. So I was very brave. I asked Neve to bring me up a mop so I could use the handle to open the window. I'm allergic to wasps. But it's gone. I managed to encourage it out. And I've shut the windows, the 2 big windows. The little one still need to open because it's hot. But yes, so bit of teamwork there. So back to knitting, patterns, etc. So I have 4 patterns coming out in September. The first one is coming out on Monday the 4th and is the Galatea top, and it's a cropped top, and you can sort of, it's on that coat hanger there. So exciting. I'm making a second one as well, but come back to that. Then on the 11th of September is the Athema jumper, which is a textured yoke pullover. On the 18th of September is the DK weight version of the casting mitts. And then on Friday, the 29th of September, is the Apocalypse mitts. And the Apocalypse mitts are going to be free because they were the ones that I was going to be releasing at Christmas, and then I broke my arm ice skating, so couldn't knit. So yes, it's taken me this long, I'm sorry. But it's a free gift. So my patterns will be available both on, sorry, I've gone into it, on Ravelry and on my website, which is curiostitches.com. It's linked in my Instagram, it's linked on Facebook, it's linked on Ravelry. You can just Google Curio Stitches and I'm there, which is nice. And then I'm working on 4 test knits as well. One of which is the Ecume for Melody, who is Gothwitch Designs, and the deadline on that is the 15th of September, like done deadline. I'm working on the Jelly Cube test knit for Cat Weaver. I'm working on the Chained Oblivion for Kelsey, who's knitting Nakabi, and I've just started working on the Irish Gold cardigan for Hohi Locatelli. So I've got a lot going on, and I took on too much, but I'm absolutely living my best life doing all this knitting. I'm knitting about 8 to 10 hours a day at the moment, but it just feels so good. And it's more of a, I want to do it while I can, because if I have another downturn and I don't have the energy to knit, I've got this, you know. And I love knitting so much, you guys, as you know. So I'm not taking on any more test knits for this year for anyone else, unless it sort of starts in December, because by then I'll have finished everything else on my list. Now I have currently got in testing, so the Galatea is finished. I'm just doing the final edits to the pattern today. I'm just waiting for a couple of the test knitters to give me their final yardage amounts. Athema is nearly done. That's got another week for the wrap. The DK casting mitts, that ends this weekend. So on Sunday, so just in a couple of days' time, ready. Although I might, if someone out there is really quick at knitting, then feel free to comment below and I can give you a week, 1 week, to test knit the DK casting mitts. And then coming up is the Moonology jumper, which is similar but not the same as the Moonology hat and socks. So it is across the yoke, all the way across the yoke and around the back. There is the Luna, which is another moon jumper, because I love moons. I think I've got 5 moons tattooed on me. Anyway, and that one is colourwork down sleeves. And then there is the Batty Montage, which is such a shout out to my 80s and 90s childhood. I mean, I'm an 81 baby, so, you know, back when goth was full on, and I love it. So it's very 80s inspired, and it's sort of covered in bats. It's so super cute, and it's a great stash buster for mini skeins and things. For that, I mean, I've still got a couple of slots for the test knit for the Batty Montage. If anyone would like to do that one, let me know down below, or send me a message. And with that one, the Batty Montage, you need, I'm going to just say a sweater's quantity of your main colour, and then you need between 8 and 16 different mini skeins. So it is fingering weight. So there are, you can either have 8 20-gram mini skeins and do 2 bats in one colour, or you can have 16 and do individual bats in different colours. You could also just do it, you know, and have your main colour and then one contrast colour for the bats. It's entirely up to you. But I originally designed it as a sort of using up Advent mini skeins before you start your new Advent, and then it's also done for Halloween. But due to health issues, it kind of got delayed. I'm sorry. It was meant to be ready so that you'd have time from sort of the end of September leading up to Halloween to knit the Batty Montage, but we'll see. I'm hoping to get it done by the end of November, which I know isn't Halloween, but it's spooky season all year round, right? Okay, just checking we're on the same page. So, is there any other knitting patterns coming out? No, but I do have a little crochet pattern coming out. It's free because I'm not a crochet designer. I literally made up a cat hat pattern for Abby, and now I'm making another one for Neve, and they think that other people should be able to do it, so I'm just going to stick that up on Ravelry and on my website, but I will show more about that next week when I do the finished projects. So plans are not set in stone, but in order to take the pressure off myself from having to have whips and FOs and acquisitions and, you know, new patterns sort of every video or every other video and every week sort of thing, just to keep the algorithms going, the first Friday of the month is going to be one of these, just to catch up, sit and chat. You get your knitting, both got a cup of tea, beverage of choice, you know, and just sort of have a catch up, you know, see where we're at, deadlines, test knits, yarn plans, project plans, future ideas. This is just a chit chat video basically, and showing a couple of things which I'll show in a minute. The second Friday of the month is going to be finished projects. That will include my designs, even if they're not being published for another couple of weeks or 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, because then I get a chance to show what I've made, and not just for myself, but, you know, for other people, other designers, other people I mean, you know, like not just items for me, for my youngest daughter, for my other 2 daughters, for my partner Abby, you know, gifts or whatever. So that's what week 2 each month is planned to be. Week 3 will be my works in progress. So if I'm knitting on a pair of socks, or a design that's at a point where I feel comfortable showing it sort of like this, you know. And then obviously if I have permission to share projects that I'm doing for other test knitters, for other designers. I know I'd have permission for a couple of the ones I'm currently doing, but I haven't yet figured out with the other designers if I'm allowed to show anything on YouTube or if it's just hush hush. We shall see. I think it's all okay, because they've done a sort of a test knitting call on Instagram, so you know what the finished item looks like. And as long as I don't share any secret sauce, should be good. And then week 4 will be dyeing talk. So what colourways I've been dyeing this month, what I plan to dye next month. Because I have been dyeing yarn. I've just not really been very good at posting about it, because when I post about it, the algorithm goes, no, you're not going to get seen. So having sort of 3 likes on one photo and, you know, 60 views on a reel that I've done, it's disheartening. So if I'm just doing it as a 1 month thing every month on here on YouTube, who knows? So I will still keep posting about it on Instagram. But we'll see, because I love dyeing yarn. My plans are coming together. I am building a dyeing studio, literally. Not bricks and mortar. I have found like an outhouse that I can build that I don't need planning permission for, because it's not bricks. It's basically like a very, very large shed. So I found everything I need and I've added it all up, and I figured out what I can buy each month, because I can dye things now, you know, with what I have. It's just I have to do such small batches, and I'm having to use a cooker that I can only use 2 rings on, and you know, it's electric, and it's not a low wattage. So I found what I need to make a proper studio without just relying on what I've already got, and I can do more and better. I mean, I've got yarn, I've got the dyes, I've got all the equipment. I just want to be able to build a proper dyeing studio so that I can spend time in there and go, right, I can bang out, you know, sort of 80 skeins today. I'm not, okay, it's going to take me 9 hours to dye 30 skeins. So yes. And yes, there are fibres coming back, because I really miss dyeing fibre. I'm going to be dyeing some solid fibres and variegated, and they're beautiful. I'll only be offering fibre on 4 bases, and the yarns I've got on 6 bases. Yes. Falkland. I love Falkland so much. Falkland yarn is beautiful to dye on. Yes. Love it. Anyway, and then if there is a 5th Friday in a month, that is going to be Free Pattern Friday. And because that doesn't really happen very often, it's sort of 3 or 4 times a year. So the first one is the 29th of September, and then the next one is the 29th of December. So on those days, I will have done a free pattern. So the Apocalypse mitts, which are coming out then, will be via that video. Just as a sort of thank you for sort of staying here and supporting me, and it's just my way of saying thank you. So yes. So that is my sort of loosey-goosey plans, because then it's not so much pressure. I'm just like, okay, I just need to do this week, which for me is a lot better. because if there's too much pressure, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I know that most of the pressure comes from me. But it does feel overwhelming to sort of sit here and record sometimes. Especially since all this health stuff's been happening. And I need to give myself permission to just not do it. Which is why I've not done it, because I've been too afraid to not do it, if you know what I mean. It's messed up. Anyway, you know exactly what I mean. If you're another YouTuber, you know. But I do love it. I love spending time with you guys. So, I am now going to show you my purchases. So, if you like working with cross stitch or floss, I think there's lots of floss tube type channels out there. I know that Rachel, my friend Rachel Ray, she's huge. She's lovely. She's an absolute sweetheart. She's a supporter of mine and I love her and I watch her videos and vice versa. So, hi Rachel. I was just having a look online because for ages I've wanted to keep my threads. At the moment I've got them in a big sort of file box. And okay, they're fine in there, but I've also got patterns in there. And it's just too disorganized. So I finally got a thread organizer. So it's just a small one because I wanted to see what they were like, sort of thing. So with this one, it was a bit of a kit actually, which is really cool. So you've got the compartments and you can move these, which is nice. And then it came with labels for the bobbins. It came with extra partitions. And then it came with, I think it was 200, maybe 200 bobbins. And initially I was like, oh, that's brilliant, because on my ball winder, I have a little adapter plug bit that just sort of sits in instead of the cone in the middle, and you can wind your cotton spools that way. But this one also comes with the winder. So you literally put the bobbin in there. And I was like, genius. It's just genius. And I think I paid £8. That's what? 6 skeins of DMC thread. Because here in the UK it's a lot more expensive than it is in America. It's not 30 cents or it's £1 at least per hank sort of thing. So when I get back to having some free time, I'm going to be winding up the colours that I use most often and put them in here. See what I'm missing, and that'll be really helpful. So yes, so that made me very happy. So it's not, you know, it didn't break the bank. It's what, 2 takeaway drinks, and I don't drink takeaway drinks, so it was sort of, yes, nice. Okay, so here's a better example. It's the price of the cheap McDonald's meals. Yeah, I'd rather be buying this. And then, still with the cross stitch. If you don't like cross stitch or embroidery, then feel free to love me and leave me. But for those of you that do, or even want to get into it, I bought some more Ada. So these are both 18 count. And I bought this one, which is biscuit. And that's beautiful. So I bought 1 metre by 1.5 meters of 2 colours. So I got, is it biscuit? Yes, biscuit. And then I got the same amount in black. So let's just a nice pitch black. And it's sort of, it's a good black. So I bought enough so that I could work my way through a particular project. I had to turn around and grab it. So I'm going to be working through this creepy cross stitch. And there are 25 spooky projects to haunt your halls. Wow. Yes, please. So I've got a couple of cute little frames for the smaller ones, because a couple of the patterns in here, I'm not completely in love with the whole design. Nothing against that, you know. I mean, they are wonderful, but I'm allowed to not like things 100%. Same as everyone, you know. So I will be taking little parts of some of them and making little ones. And then other ones I want to sort of add to, or, you know, just do a part of it. So, yes, creepy cross stitch. So this is by Lindsay Swearingen, creator of Tusk and Cardinal. But I got my copy on Amazon. Yes. And I love the feel of this book. It's that sort of rubbery paper. Feels like skin. I really like it. So that's kind of what I've been up to and what I have got. Obviously I've got other things, but they're sort of housey things, like lots of candles, because Wilko's is closing down and the candles are 50% off, so it's sort of a pillar candle for £2. Yes please. You know, a box of taper candles for £1.50. Yes please, because as you know, I have candles burning every day. It is my medicine. And then obviously we've hit the Halloween draft at TK Maxx. I've got a beautiful plate and candles and things from there as well, because yes, spooky all year round. Yes, definitely. So yeah, that's it for catch-up video. Apart from, I'm just going to stand up and show you what I'm wearing today, because look. So this is my feline phantom. This is my design. It's worked in DK weight at a loose gauge. Isn't it cute? And it's also, I have it tattooed. Yes. So it was inspired for my little white cat Jasmine, who's now a ghostie. Well, she crossed the Rainbow Bridge. She years ago now. And then my cat Galen, who was her son, went missing for like 4 or 5 months. And then he just turned up one day like, hi, feed me. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I love it. Thank you all for watching. I am looking forward to seeing you all again on a regular basis, and I hope you look forward to seeing me too. Take care for now, everyone. Bye.